The moment froze. My boss stood in the doorway of the restaurant, pointing right at my wife. "Today she's mine," he said. It felt like time slowed to a crawl. She looked over at me, not with panic or fear, but with a small, knowing smile. "I agree," she said. And just like that, they walked out together, leaving me behind. I stayed seated. The shock was a physical force, pinning me to the chair. Then came the anger, hot and sharp, followed by a wave of disbelief. All those dinners we shared, the plans we made for the future, the promises we whispered, all of it, just shredded into a million pieces in a matter of seconds. I didn't chase them. I didn't yell or make a scene. I simply went home, quietly, alone. The silence in the house was deafening. The first thing I did was just breathe, in and out. I had to ground myself. Then I started to think. I realized I was at a crossroads. I could let this spiral me down into a pit of anger and despair, or I could take back control. I chose control. It started quietly. The next day I began gathering evidence. Not for some grand, dramatic revenge plot, but for my own clarity, for proof. I collected old text messages, photos, credit card receipts, anything that could piece together the timeline of their betrayal. It was about seeing the situation for what it was, not what I had wanted it to be. Step 2 was about self-preservation. I contacted a lawyer and had divorce papers drafted immediately. I started the process of separating our assets and securing my own financial accounts. She clearly thought she could just walk away with everything, smug and unchallenged, leaving me with nothing but the bill for their dinner. She was mistaken. Step 3 required the most difficult thing of all, patience. I had the truth, but throwing it out into the world in a fit of rage would only make me look unhinged. I had to wait for the right moment, the right audience, the right impact. When I finally decided to reveal everything, I did it carefully, calmly, and factually. I spoke to our mutual friends and some trusted colleagues one-on-one. I didn't shout or try to humiliate her. I simply laid out the facts, backed by the proof I had gathered, and just like that, the narrative began to shift. The friends who had awkwardly laughed at the scene in the restaurant, thinking it was some kind of bizarre joke, went quiet. Colleagues who had been manipulated by my boss's charisma started to see the truth behind the curtain. Her carefully constructed story of a failing marriage and a new, exciting romance completely collapsed under the weight of her own actions. The truth spoke for itself, and it spoke loudly. Months passed. I started to rebuild my life, piece by piece. I spent long evenings in my garage working on my old car. The logic of engines, the feel of tools in my hand, it was therapeutic. It was real. Slowly, my real friends returned. Trust was rebuilt, not just with others, but with myself. My dignity was restored. She tried to come back, of course. She tried to charm her way back in, to manipulate the situation, to rewrite history as if none of it had happened the way it did. I didn't respond. I didn't have to. The truth had already done all the heavy lifting for me. By the time she finally realized the game was over, it was far too late. I learned that I didn't need revenge. I didn't need to destroy her life to fix my own. I just needed to reclaim what was mine, my peace, my self-respect, my future. This morning, sunlight poured through the windows of my garage as I turned a wrench on the engine. The engine purred to life. The past had tried to break me, but it failed. And in its place, I found something far more valuable. I found freedom. My life was finally mine again. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever felt broken by a situation you couldn't control, know that you have the power to rebuild. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about resilience and finding your strength. See you next time.